Thank you. It's awesome that you allow us to come and speak like this. Over my career, I've been involved in many public participation exercises, and I would just like to compliment you on what a great job you've done to date. I went to the one on December the 8th. It was very well attended, well organized. Staff were very informative. The boards were there, people to make the comments. Now, whether I agreed with them or not is another question, but I just think so far you've done a really good job as far as that goes. I'm a citizen of Nanaimo. I live on Protection Island. I'm also president of the Protection Island Neighborhood Association. With me tonight are several people also from the board of directors. The fellow in the black hat with the skull and crossbones, don't be scared, all the way over to the big boy in the red fleece jacket there, all from the Protection Island Neighborhood Association. We have about 100 members. There's about 375 people we think live on Protection Island, given the phone book that we put together and the participants in that. I like to make it really clear that I'm here speaking on behalf of the Protection Island Neighborhood Association. I had also asked if I could speak as Gary Weikum, as a private citizen, and ran into some issues with that because there seemed to be a conflict that my name was showing up twice. But I would still ask council, I'm still looking for an opportunity somewhere here tonight to speak as a private citizen. But making it really clear, here I am talking for the Neighborhood Association. Just picking up on the last questions, we have had no discussion and are not getting involved as a neighborhood association as to whether an event center is needed or not, whether to support it or not support it. We're simply here to talk about the location. That is our only concern. Living on Protection Island, the harbor is our front yard. We use it for recreation, but primarily we use it as our transportation route to get to the city. It is our roadway into the community. Right now, anytime we come to the city, we try to get downtown, we have to either go through private property, private marinas, or we have to go through something that's controlled by the Nanaimo Port Authority. And this has been disconcerting to us because there is nowhere except for the Wilcox lands that we actually have access into downtown, or have potential for access in downtown, because the city of Nanaimo owns it. The Port Authority is not an elected body. They've got a different agenda than what City Council has. And so for us, the Wilcox land, we see this as an important point in the future for us getting access into the downtown and into the city of Nanaimo. The South Downtown Waterfront Initiative, we looked at with quite a bit of admiration. The principles that were in there said to promote access and connectivity. That supported us to be able to get into Nanaimo. It talked about supporting an evolving working harbor. And we share that roadway with industrial users, recreation users, and it is a working harbor today. It talks about promoting ecologically positive development, old resilient land uses, and embed cultural and social considerations into the decision. When we went through these guiding principles as a neighborhood association, and we looked at them and we said, well, in terms of promoting access and connectivity, it looks to us like we've got a huge building here that hadn't been anticipated in the plan. It looks like it's shoehorned into an incremental piece of land. It's right up against Front Street, and it's going to be a great wall. I mean, even if it is architectural features on the outside, it is a huge, massive wall along Front Street. And we're wondering, well, what is that doing for allowing people to see the waterfront or make their way down to the waterfront? We see this as potentially being a barrier in the future. We looked at, is it in fact going to promote harbor vitality? This is a building that has people primarily coming into it to look inwards at events. It's not something where people are spilling out of this center to go and use the harbor, use the activities along the way. And so we feel that those two guiding principles are being compromised as a result of this development. Now, there was three other principles: ecological positive development, bold and resilient land use, cultural and social considerations in the decision making. We don't have enough information yet to comment on those ones. Though tonight I was much more encouraged when I saw the design for the building, which is that was released on Friday afternoon, that actually I would suggest that cultural considerations are being shown much more sensitively in the decision. But we're still of the opinion that the first two guiding principles have not been met, that in fact this is not the appropriate site for the Wilcox lands. One last thing I would just like to leave you with, as much as I was very excited with the public participation process that occurred there. At the December 8th meeting, I will not name the alderman, but I did have a chat with several other people, with an alderman, and I was of the opinion that a public engagement process is one where council was in fact engaging the public, asking them what they thought. And in talking to one alderman, I came with a distinct impression his mind was made up. He was not listening to what the public were having to say. In fact, I would describe it more as a hard sell for the project. And all I want to just throw out here is I think that as a council member, you're in a tough spot. You do have to make a decision in the end. But I think until you actually are asked to make that decision, you need to keep an open mind. You need to collect all the information. Tonight was a tidal wave of information that only came out on Friday afternoon, information that hadn't been available at the previous public information meetings. So I very much support what came out from the gentleman who talked about public consultation, that in fact in the future, now that we have this more information that is out in the public, or will be out in the public, that in fact the public engagement process will probably be even more valuable to council for the type of comments that they're going to receive.
Thank you, sir. Don't see any questions for you.